And I believe it's might be still good morning, maybe not. What does Viacom say? No, it's not good morning anymore. But still, it feels like morning. And I just got a cup of coffee over here at Double Shot here in the Mission at ¿cómo se llama el lugar? At Lucky Alley, the corner of Lucky Alley. They have a place called Double Shot. I believe it's Latino owned. They even have a printer in there. You can send your printing things there. But I guess today's my pitch is for Raza to shop local. You know, our economy is different than most economies. I wouldn't say more different, but you know, if you go down into like areas like Chinatown, you know, North Beach, certain areas where there's, you know, a lot of people, a lot of raza of that kind, you know, and they shop within their own communities, you know, because like right now, when I was waiting for my coffee, there was this guy, young man, who was gonna go get repollo. I'm like, I didn't say what was repollo. I knew it. Well, I knew it was something. I thought it was liver. Repollo's cabbage. Anyways, this concha from La Reina, damn, bam. And so again, you know, our economy, you know, raza economy, no matter what raza you're from, if you're Kababayan, if you're Cantonese, Mandarin speaking, whatever, you know, we got our enclaves, you know. And one of the last, you know, Latino areas in San Francisco, and I know we're spreading throughout the, you know, the areas, you know, we're in the Tenderloin, we're down on the avenues, we're over there by, you know, the Gary Street areas and everything, 3rd Street. Pero aquí in the Mission, you know, I always look out the windows, these windows here, and I look down toward Twin Peaks, and I always see the clouds, you know, like going down from the top of Twin Peaks all the way down to Market. And then at nighttime, you can see the, ¿cómo se llama? The clouds, you know, covering downtown. You know, they're covering downtown. And that's the beauty of the nature of the Mission, is that we get, you know, the best weather, because we have Twin Peaks, we have Bernal Heights, we have acá to our east is ¿cómo se llama el lugar? Potrero Hill. And again, I don't want to get off the subject of shopping in our barrios, because our stores, our, you know, the businesses that we have in the neighborhoods, our identity, you know, it's what brings us into the neighborhood, especially in the Mission, now that we've been gentrified and we don't have a lot of, you know, people that live here still. You know, when people come out from different places, you know, it's more likely that I see somebody, you know, from that I don't know. They're tourists. I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean they're from Modesto, they're from Stockton, they're from, you know, Richmond, they're from even outside, like the 3rd Street or the Tenderloin. They're not from the Mission. And I know a lot of raza got pushed out to East Bay, and that is a big part of our economy, you know. And right now, what we have coming up in August, I don't know what's coming up in August for as far as raza here. I know I know I'm doing an exhibit probably in about a week and a half here at La Reina. And it's going to be pictures that I took with the film camera in 2012. And, you know, I was getting all nostalgic, you know, so I went around the barrio and I took pictures of the murals. And finally, you know, a couple of years ago, we started using the bakery as a slash gallery, because it's hard to get your stuff into galleries, because they're booked up already or they don't see you as an artist. By the way, they say that they're going to make housing for artists on Market Street. So if you're outside in Oakland, if you were kicked out and you're an artist, I imagine even tattoo artists. So ponle, trucha, ojos, because they might just throw in a lot of like these techies who are saying they're artists and they're graphic artists. So be careful with that, But they said they're making housing for artists, so ponle trucha, we gotta get those spaces back, And with that said, I hear that there was an I don't know what they call it, law or ordinances or what do they call it, a bill in San Fran, that they said that they were gonna cut the percentage of low-income housing for low-income housing from 15% per building to 5%. So that means that they get permission to build a new building, which they are going to do because they got the okay. And if you've been following La Chiada, you'll see that they want to make a apartment building allá in Marina, where the Safeway is at, allí on the right in front of Fort Mason, I think it's called that. And there's of course la raza there, their gente, los millonarios don't want apartments there for slash low income. That's probably why they went down to 5%. With that said, let's stop getting low income housing, because one of my friends from I'm not gonna throw him out in the field, pero he was saying that where he lives up there in another state, for some reason they put cheaper hardware even to the piping in low income housing than they do to the other parts of the building that are more expensive. We've always had what we see now in the White House. That's always been. Only this tapado has made it. He dropped the curtain. He's no longer the Wizard of Oz. He dropped the curtain, right? Well, with that said, what I wanted to get to was get subsidized housing. Subsidized housing means they're gonna give you X amount of money so you can live in quality housing. And I think our movement should be. I know I'm not part of this whole Mission District housing movement, pero I've lived here since 1970 in the Mission, pretty much on this street, 24th Street. And this building, this housing right now, 49 years in this place, aquí. Then I used to live on Hampshire, 23rd, pero for like 6 years when I was a kid. Fun times. Pero anyways, subsidized housing, get the gobierno here to subsidize, raza to get housing, because everybody always says they can't afford it, and they can't. But why don't we get subsidized housing, Anyways, with that said, that's my pitch for subsidized housing in the Mission, in San Fran, all over the place. Don't forget, there's gonna be a building, an apartment building, built puro artistas. So let's beat those graphic artists and get screen printers, get tattoo artists, get raza de todos colores, to occupy that building. How would they say it nowadays? They when you rush a building and you occupy it, let's occupy that thing. Let's get it. Let's get that artist building here in San Fran. Anyways, going back to local businesses. On 24th Street, we got muchísimos business. We got Dye and Breed. We got The City. We got Mishkoa. We got Sol de Luna. We got about at least 10 haircut salons, and we got like 7 panaderias on the strip, and there's some that are gonna open up también that are not Latino, and so we got businesses here. We got taqueria, we got Guadalajara, we got Farolito, we got Vallarta, we got San Francisco down the street. We got a lot of different places down here. We even have the pubs, the pubs. We got a few of them down here that were popping during Mundial. Ya viene el tiempo de los muertos, so get your muerto on over here. Your pan dulce, your calaveritas, your papel picado, all of those things that you need to decorate your altar. I know it's only September. What time? Where we at? July, August, algo así. And I know I'm talking about that's a couple of months away, pero it rolls up. So, anyways, with that said, we got a lot of different stores down here. We got tattoo art. We got like about 3 quality tattoo artists stations on the street. One over there by Pops's Cantina, one over here by Ruth's Cantina, and one down right here next to Taqueria Guadalajara. And we got little shops that sell miscellaneous stuff here in the Mission. There's a lot of little things here that people don't treasure, that we're still a community, Latino based here on 24th Street. We do have a lot of places like Brava Theater that has a lot of production coming out of that. There's Galeria right around the block here on Folsom Street. That's their A building. They have a B building allá por la 16 on Folsom, on Shotwell. But the one that I go to, like on Lunadas and little events here, are right here around the block from the bakery, La Reina Bakery. And there's a lot of, if you haven't been to, ¿cómo se llama este lugar? La Gallinita, here on 24th and Harrison. I mean, that is what I call the last place that you can see them making your food, that you can see them frying chicharrones, that you can see them cutting a piece of meat in front of you, and then you can also have breakfast there, lunch there, dinner también a veces. They open late, pero right there, right mero 24th and Harrison, that's a gem, La Gallinita, because they have a carniceria and a delicatessen. So you're getting, your comida like fresh out of the carniceria. It's not in some freezer. It's right there in front of you, just like Basa. Basa is another little gem right there. It's a Chinese-owned a seafood shop right there. And Basa, I believe they're connected with the fish market on Mission Street. So you're getting the fish, they got chowder, they got shrimp, they got salmon, they got toda la cosa, sushi, todo, then they've been there for a while. You got these little clothing shops también on 24th Street. You got so much. And then look at behind me is these trees. You gotta take advantage of the beauty of this street. I know Oakland and other East Bay towns now, they have probably way more Latinos than we do in the Mission. Pero you can still hear la chicanada, la hablada, people talking Spanish. Spanish music blasting down the street in cars, las oldies, We have a lot of cruise nights over here in the mission, and they're very well organized by Lowrider Council. Um, don't forget, Dia de los Muertos is November 2nd, and that is always without blink. Allí en la 22 y la Bryant, a las 7, it begins. Doesn't mean they start moving, it begins. And for the last few years, we've had Miguel Gavilan Molina from KPFA's La Onda Bajita. He's been our MC. And, under the guidance and, production of Luis de la Garza, who is a friend of mine. And he lets me put my 2 cents in there, and I help out. And, the Azteca dancers, también, we always welcome, people to help out. And when I say help out, I don't mean like, giving me a hand. I mean like the barrio, like the barrio is what deserves it. The barrio deserves danzantes. Because if you don't know your history very well, this place where I'm sitting at, this barrio here is where danza came from, the mission in this area. Okay? So as much as you want to flicker and your barrios, whatever, but danza came from this area. It's spread out. Of course, there was some in different, places that are 2 hours away that way, 2 hours away that way. Yeah, I get it. Pero aquí in the mission, you had a lot of people come in here to teach danza. Macuil Sochi, Don Pedro Rodriguez, General, Capitán Gerardo Salinas, Manolo Sanchez, Miguel Martinez, all of the Citlalis, and a lot of the groups that are in the Bay Area come from those groups. Our group, Coyoshauki, we began in Santa Rosa, now we're in the mission, but we started with Teocalli. We're still under Teocalli. I've not ever said, I'm outie, But again, Raza, the mission, this is a beautiful place. Again, I understand there's not that much Raza here no more as there used to be, especially living here. Por eso, kindly, vénganse a comprar, hacer sus compras. Come on down here, be active, live your dream, come to San Francisco. We got weather that's always 65. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but 65 is the norm weather. So if you come here, dress appropriately. No vengas en tus tank tops y flip-flops y tight shorts, because it gets cold. You might see the sun and the wind, the sky, pero de repente llega el fog y llega las chispas, la llovizna y todo. Anyways, otra vez, making a pitch for the mission. Oh, and our bus system here. The bus, the 48 Quintana that stops right here, it stops all down 24th Street. It'll take you down to 3rd Street, and it'll go through the mission all the way up, and it'll take you to Ocean Beach. You can go to the beach, come back, have tacos, get on the BART again, y te largas, The mission, it's popping, There's Presida Eyes, there's Balmy Alley, There's, like I mentioned, I'm doing an art exhibit on my photos that are photos taken in 2012 of Balmy Alley, of old murals that are ya están despintados. So that's gonna be, the art exhibit will be like in a week and a half. I just got these beautiful frames made by Saul, and I'm waiting for 2 more pictures to get blown up so I can put them on and then I'll go ahead and paint the wall y todo. So keep informed. I want to have a plática on copyright law, and then also Tirso Gonzalez Arizo is gonna be painting a new mural on the corner of Balmy in the alley area of it on Vallarta building. So there's going to be a new mural there, and they're going to redo a lot of the Balmy Alley murals. I know Irene Hernandez is doing her old one. She's doing it up again. Uh, Lucia is doing a couple of them. There's a lot of things happening, but it's like under the radar. You gotta be like, a salamander, walking around and noticing things. Órale, pues I'll let you go because my cafe is getting cold. Ay, cabrón. So otra vez, I got a double shot. What double shot means is you want a red eye. When you go to a double shot right here, get a red eye. That means a coffee, and then they give you a shot of espresso. Otra vez, there's Timo's down on Harrison. There's El's Cafe allá por La Bryant. There's La Boheme. There's House. Again, double shot. There's another cafe up the street. So there's cafes here. There's cafes. I was just at Timo's yesterday, and then I was over there at El's. So I shop around. Órale, gracias.